Hello there. My name is Nartana. It's Nartana. And Nartana means dance. I am a classical Indian dancer with Dances of India. This is one of the US's oldest classical Indian dance companies. We are celebrating our 44th anniversary in 2021. My mom, Asha Prem, is the artistic director. And I dance, I administer the company, I also write and narrate our original productions. I just wanted to share a little bit with you today about my experiences dancing in St. Louis and in Missouri. A couple months ago, a family friend of ours asked us, "Is this really your 44th season?" I said yes. He said, "Do you know then you have been performing for nearly a quarter of Missouri's history?" I could not believe that. I never realized that. So, I'm just honored to be able to say that we are continuing, this long. It's been an amazing experience, an amazing ride. But my parents never would have believed that we would be going so long when they began the company in 1976. So I'll tell you a little bit about that in a bit. But first, picture this, 1980s. I'm trudging on the arch grounds to find the right stage on which I'm supposed to perform for the VP Fair. Fair St. Louis has replaced the VP Fair. So, it's a hot, sultry day. I'm with my mom and my dad and some other students, and we're, trying to find the right stage. And I'm wearing my dance costume. It's like a blouse with the pattern sash over it, and then the costume from the waist down, it's like pants that you tie with a drawstring, and then when you sit down, it opens up like accordion pleats. And then I'm wearing bracelets, earrings, a tika, which is a jewel, small circle and a chain, and then two little jewels representing the sun and the moon. So, so we get there, we find our stage, and then we're about to go on, and it turns out it's just the stage is burning up because it's so hot. The organizers didn't know that we danced barefoot. So my mom is talking to them, asking them, can they do something about it? And then someone has an idea, and they go get a bucket of ice water, and they throw it on the stage, which certainly helps, but now the stage is wet, so we have to wait a couple of minutes before we dance. And then I remember when we're dancing, I still remember the dance I was doing. It's this dance with a lot of rhythm and melody. And there were these two guys in the audience, bare-chested with beer bottles, asking us out. And I remember my fellow dancers and I just bursting out laughing. This whole incident was just so kind of ridiculous, but just a lot of fun as well. That's just one incident. We have danced all over St. Louis, all the major museums, the Art Museum, Contemporary Museum, History Museum, Missouri Botanical Gardens, numerous corporations, Anheuser-Busch, AT&T, Energizer, just to name a few. Schools, hundreds of schools, libraries. My mom taught through Springboard to Learning in St. Louis City Schools for years. We worked with the Urban League. We gave workshops at the Vaughn Center, the Scott Joplin House, Carr Square After School Project. So we've also performed in numerous assisted living centers. So my dad, who started the company, one of his motivations was certainly a love of music and dance. He was an endocrinologist, a research scientist rather, who specialized in endocrinology and in the thyroid gland. But he loved music and dance. So growing up, I just grew up with music and dance in the house all the time. I mean, my dad would play LPs of Mozart and Strauss and Beethoven, and then there was South Indian classical music in the home. So he loved music. So certainly one reason why he began the company with my mom in 1976 was to share, this art with the St. Louis community. But another reason he began it was because he really wanted to give back to the community. I actually lost my train of thought a little bit. There was something else I was going to add in there. Well, anyway, suffice to say, but basically I was just going to say that's why he was so encouraging that we perform anywhere we're invited, and especially with underserved audiences. So we've also danced at many churches, the Buddhist temple, Chinese Buddhist temple in Maryland Heights, Taiwanese church, where when I entered, it was the time of the Chinese New Year, so I said, Happy Chinese New Year, and they told me, it's not Chinese New Year, we celebrate the Lunar New Year. So I felt a little embarrassed, but it all turned out okay because everyone there loved the dance I was doing. So it's really been, I can say from experience that music and dance break all kinds of boundaries. And that's one of the best parts about being able to dance for as long as I have. I've danced all my life. And we don't do Bollywood, we do classical Indian dance. This is an ancient art form that's based on a text that's about 2,000 years old, give or take, century. And it kind of lays down the foundations for the dance. And one of the primary motivations of this dance is to tell stories. So we tell stories with our hands, with our eyes, with our face. We can tell about abstract concepts such as peace, eternity, love. We can talk about animals. Here's a peacock, a bird, fish. So this is what we do in our dance. And there are also a lot of very intricate rhythm patterns as well. So anyway, this is how I've gotten to experience so many different venues in St. Louis and got to meet people I otherwise would normally not have met. So one story I thought I'd tell you is we were invited to dance in Springfield, Missouri. This is not that long ago, like 10, 11 years ago. And of course Springfield is more culturally conservative, so I wasn't sure how we would be received. But we were dancing for the Ladies Red Hat Society, and we followed, it was a very eclectic program, and we followed this auctioneer. It was brilliant. He auctioned off something that they were giving away, but he was just so good. I felt like I was watching an auctioneer, in a Western film. And then we were followed by Dino, who is an entertainer popular in Branson, I think. So it was sort of a, kind of bizarre programming, but it was great. It just turned out really well. We did a folk dance about a peacock in a paddy field, and we also I did a dance about the goddess of the earth. So anyway, I was talking to the auctioneer, and and I was just thinking later, he was born in Missouri, I was born here, and here we were, two fellow Missourians from two completely different backgrounds, meeting at this event. It was so cool. And it just got me thinking about like what America can represent, the best of America, the meeting of these cultures. And on the way to Springfield, my dad was driving in his trusty Cadillac. He always drove a Cadillac. My whole life, he just loved that car. And on the way, I was dreaming about Laura Ingalls Wilder and those wonderful books, because I loved those books. I lived those books. I read them over and over. So I was just, reviewing the country and imagining her life and the kind of life she had and all that, just kind of lost in it. And then on the way back, it was night and the stars were out, and I saw the Big Dipper. So I was, looking at that, and I love astronomy. I read every book possible on physics. I just love the subject. And I was just thinking about the different mythologies, how they view the stars. And in Hinduism, the Big Dipper is called the Seven Sages constellation. Then later on, I was thinking, wow, on the way there, I was just dreaming about Laura Ingalls Wilder and her life. That's so a part of me. On the way back, I was thinking about, the Hindu myths and how they relate to the constellations, and that's so much a part of me. So that was just so cool. It was such a neat, I think a great, it encapsulates my experience, I should say, growing up here. My parents named the country Dances of India because in the 70s, there was almost no knowledge of India whatsoever. If you said you were Indian, 90% of the time people would say, really? I'm a quarter Cherokee. Or I remember one response I got was, really? I just went to a reservation in Oklahoma last month. But we never got angry. We just explained that we're from the country India. And, it was fun. There was no anger. I think nowadays there are a lot of labels and stuff, and I don't like labels. So it was just fun. It was a wonderful experience, and I wouldn't give it away for the world. So that was a great experience. Oh, another part of this experience is this. So sometimes, of course, I mean, when you danced, there was not much of an audience. Okay, most places we went, there was always an audience. People loved what we were doing. Sometimes it wasn't. For example, if we were to dance in a cafeteria in a corporation and it's a beautiful day at lunchtime, who's going to show up? Come on, right? So, sometimes I get upset. I tell my dad, why do we come here? There's no one here, or, they're not watching. And he would always tell me, he said, why do you care? He said, you're invited to dance, you dance. Why do you care? And that took a while to sink in, but I think that's such an important lesson, especially today in a world, of social media and likes and reposts and, how many views you have. It's just ridiculous, and that's the primary lesson. Do what you love. If you love it, you do it. And don't worry about who watches or who doesn't watch. That has literally nothing to do with what you're doing. So this is a great experience. So I should say that, one other thing, as I mentioned earlier, that my dad wanted to give back to the community. He also began, Dances of India sponsored the St. Louis Dance Festival from 2000 to 2018. And he really, as mentioned, loved music and dance. So this festival brought together St. Louis Ballet, Madco, dozens of companies, Colombian, Mexican. We had a Russian folk dance once, the Cloggers. And so he really wanted to do this to bring everyone together for 1 or 2 nights, and then to show St. Louis that dance was alive here, alive and kicking here, So that was a motivation really for creating Dances of India, the dance festival, and for being such a part of the community. And so I've been a part of the community, of course. I mean, I've been dancing my whole life. I've been performing since I was 7. And when I was very young, I was on a show called Corky's Colorama, if anyone remembers that. It was on KSDK Channel 5. So I've been part of the community since then, always with my storytelling, dancing, etc. And as mentioned earlier, it's been such an amazing experience. It's been, I think, a very unique American experience. And I'm very grateful for the chance to be able to tell our story for this Missouri Bicentennial Storytelling event for the St. Louis Storytelling Festival. If you'd like to learn more about us, please visit our website, dancesofindiastlouis.org. Thank you very much.